talents. Real nigga, I rep those. Why though? Cause I said so. Get deep in that meth though. I got 5 on it like Benfolds. I got more tail than...
The game is a work of fiction, and it is the author's imagination. It does not aim to offend, insult, discriminate, or anyone, or a religious, social, economical, species, or any other basis. Any violation of the player's aesthetic sensitivity, active citizenship, or other spiritual impulse lies on their conscience. Any resemblance of the character to your real or imaginary friends, neighbors, colleagues, toll bus, what the hell is a toll bus, is entirely coincidental. All heroines are of 18 years old and have confirmed their consent on participating in this game in written form. This game does not contain any propaganda of voluntary or not ending one's life. Okay. New game. Everlasting Summer. I was having that dream once. That dream. Same thing every night. But it's all forgotten in the morning as usual. Maybe it's for the best. Only a glimpse of memory remain of gates that have opened, as if inviting me somewhere, with 2 stone pioneers standing close by. Also that strange girl who keeps asking me, will you come with me? Come. But where? And why? And where am I anyway? Of course, if it all had happened in real life, I would certainly have been scared. Who else would expect one to feel? But this is just a dream. The same one I see every night. There must be a reason. You don't have to know where or why to realize something is really happening. Desperately seeking my attention, since everyone that surrounds me here is real as things in my own flat. I can open gates, hear the hinges creak, brush the crumbling crust away with my hand, inhale the fresh, cool air and shiver from the cold. I could, but to do that I would need to myself up, take a step, move my hand. But this is a dream, I understand that. But what of it? What does my understanding change? But here, it's just like on the other side of the cracked screen of an old TV, which struggles to fight against static noise and strives to show its audience everything without missing a single detail. But the picture is getting blurry. I must be waking up soon. Maybe I should ask her something. The girl. What's her name? About the stars, for instance. Why the stars, though? I'd rather ask about the gates. Yes, the gates. She would be so surprised. Or better, why the dot over an I was called a title. The dot over a J was called a superscript dot. Nice letters. As if they don't exist anymore. Still, what What do letters, gates, and stars have to do with this place? Because even if I'm having this dream every night, which will be forgotten soon anyway, I've got to look for answers here and now. And there, if you look carefully, you can see the Magellan clouds. They'll end up in the southern hemisphere. In a dream, there are small things that catch your attention. An unnatural color of grass, impossible curves of straight lines, or your own disoriented reflection with real dangers which could put an end to everything here and now seems trivial. It's natural since you cannot die here. I know it for sure, I've done it hundreds of times. But you cannot die. Is there a point in living? I should ask the girl, she's a local, she should know. Yes, exactly. Should ask her about that owl, for example. What strange bird it is. No, it does not matter. Will you come with me? And every time I have to answer, it's the only way, otherwise the dream will never end and I will never wake up. Yes, I'll come with you. Every time it's so hard to decide on an answer. Where am I? What am I doing? Who is she? And why does so much in my life depend on the answer? Or maybe it doesn't. It's just a dream after all. Just a dream. The computer screen stared at me as if I was alive. Sometimes it really did seem to me that it was conscious of itself, that its own thoughts, wishes, ambitions, that it had feelings, could suffer love, could love and suffer. As if in our relationship the screen wasn't an instrument, it was me who was a lifeless piece of plastics and textile. There's some truth in that, probably because the computer provides 90% of my communication with the outside world. Anonymous image boards, some chats from time to time. Rarely ICQ or Jabber. Forums even more rarely. People on the other end of the internet cable simply do not exist. All of them are simply creations of its sick imagination, an error in the code, or a kernel bug, which started living a life of its own. What is going on? I think I'm looking up. If one looked at my existence from the outside, such thoughts would seem crazy, and a psychologist would surely give me a bunch of sophisticated diagnoses, and maybe write me a doctor's referral to the loony bin. It's a bright light. Because it's coming from the outside world. A small apartment with no signs of repair or any semblance of order in it, and always have the same view out the window with the gray megalopolis running somewhere day and night. Such are the conditions of my life. Well, of course, it didn't all start like this. I was born, I went to school and finished it like all the others. I was accepted to a university where I spent a year and a half trailing behind and struggling. I drifted through several jobs. Sometimes it was working out quite well, sometimes I was even getting decent money for it. But it all felt like it was not mine, as if taken away from another man's biography. I wasn't living life, it was looping over and over in monotonous circles. Like in the movie Groundhog Day. It's just that I had no choice in how to spend my day and even repeat every day itself. Same by vicious spiral. A spiral of emptiness, misery, and despair. For the last few years, I just sat in front of the screen all day. Sometimes there were menial jobs, sometimes my parents helped me. And in all, I was able to provide for myself. No wonder really, since my needs are quite minor. I hardly leave my home. My communication with other people is almost exclusively consist of online correspondence with the anonymous, who have no name, no age, no actual gender. So in a brief, a quiet, typical life of a quite typical antisocial person of his time. Kind of Donnie Darko on a minor scale, without doomsday-related visions. Maybe some highly respected author will write a novel about me, and will become a contemporary classic of modern literature. Or I will write one myself. However, what's the point of fooling myself? I've tried many times, but couldn't come up with a simple short story. I tried to learn many other things as well. Not gifted enough to draw. Programming got bored. Foreign languages take too much time. Only thing I loved doing was reading, but still, I never would have called myself a scholar. Perhaps I was an ace at watching anime and a grandmaster of lame internet jokes. If I were to get paid for it, I would probably be a happier person and a richer person too, but I doubt it would fill inside of me. Today was another typical day of a typical failure's typical life. And today's the day when I have to go to my university reunion. Frankly speaking, I really didn't want to. What's the point? The time I've spent with them was so short. However, I was persuaded by a friend, my former university mate, and one of the few I kept in contact, in touch other than through the internet. The beautiful sky, such wonderful lighting. Crunch, 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 crunch. Whoosh. All this snow. So blurry. So summer's not my season either. It's just that I see no reason to point out any particular time of the year. It doesn't matter what weather is outside when you stay at home 24/7. The bus was running so late I was about to curse it all and spend my last few hundred rubles for a taxi. The idea of returning home didn't cross my mind for some reason. As usual, millions of thoughts flew through my mind, but not a single one of them useful, not a single useful one to seize on. Such a thought that you could bring into existence, give a shape, turn into an idea and put into practice. Maybe I could start my own business, but where would I get the money? Maybe I could go back to working in an office. No way. Maybe I should try freelancing, but what skills do I have and who would want me after all? I suddenly remembered my childhood, or rather my teen years, the time when I was 15 to 17. Why exactly those years? No idea. I guess it's because back then everything was much more simple. It was easier to make decisions. So complicated now, and so simple then. Waking up in the morning when I knew how my day was going to pass. I would eagerly look forward to the weekend that I could get some rest and have time for things I liked. Computer, football, going out with friends. And then at the beginning of the week I'd take my studies up again. But then there were no worrying questions like why, who needs it, what will change if I do it, or what will not change. I also casual for any normal person and so odd for myself today. The careless childhood age. It was also then I met my first love. Her appearance and personality have vanished from my memory. Only her name remains like a brief line from a social network profile, along with the feelings which overwhelmed me when I was with her. Affections, tenderness, and the desire to care for her and to protect her. Sadly, it didn't last long. Today, I can hardly imagine something like that happening. It would probably like to meet a girl, but I don't know how to start a conversation. What on earth do you discuss, and how to distract her? Well, I haven't met any suitable girls for a long time, but where could I meet one anyway? The sound of an engine brought me back to reality. The bus pulled over. There was something abnormal about it, I thought. But again, it doesn't matter, only 410 runs on this route. Get in the bus, get in the bus, get in the bus, get in the bus. Street lights pass me by. It's as if they're cold light sparks inside of me, trying to ignite feelings long dead. Or maybe not ignite, just awaken. But those feelings have been living in me for a long time, slumbering and waking up again. The driver's radio was playing some very familiar tunes, but I wasn't listening. I was watching the cars pass by through the fogged up window. Because people are always rushing somewhere, chasing something they need, stuck in their own little worlds. Why would they care about mine? They probably have their own serious problems, or maybe they have much easier lives. You can't know for sure since it's all people are different. Or are they? Sometimes someone's actions can be easily predicted. But if you try to look inside their soul, you'd only see one impenetrable darkness. The bus was approaching downtown and my thoughts were interrupted by this bright city lights. Hundreds of billboards, thousands of cars, millions of people. I watched this light show and somehow got terribly sleepy. My eyes closed for just a moment and then what in the hell is going on? Okay, was all this just an intro? Bright daylight struck my eyes. At first I didn't pay attention, I wasn't fully awake yet. On their own, my legs carried me towards the door. Damn, looks like I fell asleep and missed my stop. But there was no door. Looked around the bus and realized it wasn't good, old worn out Elias. Instead, the bus was an Icarus model, a new one. I froze in shock. How? Save game. Not yet. How? What? Am I dead? How have I been kidnapped? No, I must be dead. I patted myself down feverishly, slapped myself painful in the face a few times, banged my forehead on the back of one of the bus seats. It's clear either I'm still alive, or you can feel the pain when you're dead. But how could this happen? Maybe I slept for too long and ended up at the bus depot. And then what, did they put me onto another bus? I rushed out and took a look around. Greenery everywhere I looked, tall grass on the roadside, trees, flowers, summer. But how? It was winter just a moment ago. My head was aching unbearably, as if I was going to explode. Slowly I began to remember. A long road running off into the distance, forests, plains, fields, lakes, and forests again. I think I was sleeping, but then how could I remember all of it? And then, again, some girl leaning over me. She whispered something softly into my ear. And then a gap again. And then I woke up here. Who was this strange girl? Or was she just a dream? For some reason, thinking about her made me feel better and calmed me down a little. I felt warmth all over, coming from inside. Could it be her who brought me here? Then I need to find her. And the best place to look for her is away from here. I rushed to the left, and then the right, then stopped, hesitating over where to go. I ran in the direction which the bus had probably come. Physical exercise does refresh one's mind. Thoughts become clearer, and it gets a little easier to evaluate the surroundings. evaluate the surrounding reality. Not in my case, however. I was sitting on the roadside, wheezing, trying to ease my sore throat by gulps of breaths of hot air. In any case, if I did run, the run did its job. The fear withdrew for a while. Maybe I really am just dreaming. Though recall my self-harm on the bus, I immediately rejected the idea. I am neither dreaming nor dead. A narrow road ran through the field into the far distance. The exact same road from my dream. I must be very far away from home. And it's not that it was just winter yesterday and it's summer now. It's a whole environment, of course. Summer is usually like this, green and hot, but here, everything is not entirely lifelike. Everything looks like it was taken from the painting of a Russian landscape. Artist of the 19th century. Their grass is just too lush. The bushes are not like what bushes should be. They are so thick that you can't see anything through them. Like treetops, honestly. And the trees themselves. The forest was quite far away. The trees looked as if they had closed their ranks and were now just waiting for word to advance onto the fields and lanes. I caught my breath and looked at the bus, which was now barely visible. That was a good run. Fear overtook me once again. Those power lines. There must be people here. But what does it mean? In fact, it means nothing at all. Couldn't they have power lines even in hell? Roasting sinners over coals, that's so last century. I must have reached the point of no return, after which you should either lose your mind or completely, or finally try to understand what is going on. And while I still have no choice, I should pick the second option. I slowly headed back to the bus. Of course it was scary, but not like I'm going to find an answer in the woods or a wretched bucket of bolts is the only kind of link that I have to the real world. I should carefully scout the area. A brick walk with an owl sign, statues of pioneers standing on either side, and a road sign nearby showing the route. This bus route number 410. The trip's taking a bit too long today. I smirked. A person may start acting improperly in extreme situations. Something like this is probably happening to me now. The place didn't look abandoned at all. No rust on the gates, no damage on the walls. Ow. Who could have a name like that, judging by the pioneer statues? It could be a son or a kid summer camp. Moreover, it appears to be open. Of course, the simplest explanation, speaking, explains nothing at all. The strange girl, the altered bus, summer at the pioneer camp. Thousands of theories went through my mind instantly, from alien abduction to lethargic sleep, from hallucination to a time and space shift. None was worse than any other, but there was really no way to pick a single one. Then it occurred to me I could try to make a phone call and dial the first number from my contact list. It had signal strength bars. The screen was showing a thick cross. Signal. There may be no signal in such a remote place, though I cannot be the only one who came here. Buses don't drive themselves. I examined the bus from all sides to make sure this wasn't a hallucination. Bits of dirt on the bottom of the bus, some rust here and there, faded paint, worn out tires. No, this was definitely a very ordinary Icarus. Yeah, exactly the kind of bus which takes you beyond your true understanding if you carelessly fall asleep. cautiously sat down on the curbside and started to wait. My patience didn't last long. My anxiety seemed to have reached its peak, and I started to slightly go mad. In such a situation, anyone would have felt something similar. Aliens and parallel universes were gone from my imagination, leaving only void and darkness. Is this how everything will end? How my life will end? But I wanted to do so much. There were so many things I had no time for yet. I was overwhelmed by the idea that this was definitely the end. But why? It's not fair. Surely I'm worse than anyone else. God, why? Tears were brimming my eyes. Invariably, I curled up and started rolling in the grass. What? Why? What did I do? Why me? But my cries were only heard by the speechless statues, the pioneers, and the bird on the tree, which immediately flapped its wings and turned off, crying out something in its own bird language, as if laughing at the idiot who dared to interrupt its after-dinner nap. I was left breathless from weeping and just laying quietly, sobbing occasionally. After a while, I managed to pull myself together. My mind cleared up in a sim terror. The fear of death gave me a little break. All in all, someone wanted to kill me. What's it all this for? Doesn't look like an experiment either. If this is just some crazy coincidence, there's probably no threat. Anyway, for now, it seems there's no danger. The panic was soon gone. Of course, the blood was still pounding in my temples. My hands were shaking, but at least I could think clearly now. Right now, there's nothing I can change anyway. So no matter how I think, how much I think, how bad I get, it would only make things worse. Until some actual facts appear, there's no point in making guesses. In any case, I wouldn't learn anything about lounging around here. The camp, if it is really a camp, looked like the only place where people could be, so I decided to go there. And hardly had I reached the gates when a girl came out from behind them, wearing a pioneer uniform. My logic didn't let me down this time. Then again, a pioneer uniform in the 21st century. Then again, a girl here. At first I was unable to take a step. I felt very much like running away. Running as far as I could from this place, far from this bus gates, statues, and far from this bloody bird with its siesta. Just running, free like the wind, faster and faster, waving to the planets passing by, winking at the galaxies. Running, becoming a pulsar ray, and turning into a vestigial radiation, running to face the unknown. Run no matter where, as long as it's from this place. While this girl came closer and smiled, I could not help but notice her beauty, even though I was trembling with fear. Human instincts work independent, conscience, and well-occupied 1% of the brain responsible for cognitive process. The remaining 95% were always busy sustaining life, and in particular ensuring stable functions of the hormonal system. I desperately wanted to get less complicated and stop thinking in formal quotes from encyclopedia, though my thoughts appeared one by one being stupid, out of place, as if taken from an internal monologue of the hero of some junky softcover crime fiction book. A pretty Slavic-based long braids looked like 2 armfuls of fresh hay, and eyes you could drown in. Hi, you must have just arrived. Fucking reply. Yeah. Alright then, welcome. She smiled broadly. Strange, it looked like as if a normal girl in front of me. I should never turn here in the woods. Field seemed better. What shall I do next? Try to speak with her as if she was human or run away or what? The blood was pumping in my head, tearing it apart from the inside a little bit more, and the poor pioneer girl would be splattered with gruesome contents of my skull. What's so funny about that? The girl looked me over. It sent shivers down my spine and started to tremble. Nothing. Great then. Great? What's so great about that? Suddenly a thought crossed my mind. To hell with it all. Forget about the bus behind me, the fact that it was winter yesterday and summer today. I wanted to rip off my itchy sweater and accept that this was actually happening. Everything is as it should be. All this is for the best. Would you happen to know? You should go to our camp leader. She'll tell you everything. Look. Go straight to the square, then left. You'll see several small cabins. She pointed at the gates as if she knew what was behind them. Trees determinative of a person's father's name, put by Russians after the person's first name, a sign of respect. Okay. Well, you can ask somewhere where Olga Dimitrievna's cabin is. Got it? Of course I did. Well, I've got to go now. The girl waved her hand at me and disappeared through the gates. It seemed as if I was here. I was something ordinary. And all this show with the bus and the travels while awake or asleep were troubling only to me, while everything here is just the way it's supposed to be. Captain Leader, Pioneer uniform. What are they doing in a historical reenactment here? I hope I would find Lenin standing atop an armored car in the square. But even that would not surprise me right now. After standing alone for a while, I headed to camp. I think I'm going to leave this episode right here for now.